Guitar Champion, what's going on? Jason Richardson here, back from my practice cave. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to show you how to write modern sweep arpeggios. Here we go. I created this demonstration sweep arpeggio to show you what modern guitar players like Jason Richardson, Tosin Abasi, and whatnot are doing to create this modern kind of sound. And in today's video we are going to check out not only what I'm doing there harmonically with the intervals and all that kind of stuff, but we're also checking out what I'm doing there technical wise. So I'm going to introduce a little bit more into a technique called economy picking and the 3-1-3 method. So, if you want the tabs for today's video, then check out the description box. There is a link where you can download the tab and also check out the products that I have there. If you want to support this channel, then of course subscribe, leave a comment and share this video to make it this viral as sweep picking can be. Well, okay, I would say let's stop talking, let's start with the lesson. Here we go. Okay, first we're going to talk about the sweep picking here, because this is not a regular sweep picking where we're going across the strings. No, we have here now a technique which is called economy picking. That means that we are including also some alternate picking, some scale playing, and every time when we're changing a string, going from one string to the next string, we are then using the sweep technique. This gives us a little bit more freedom on what kind of notes we can choose and what kind of colors we can put into our modern sweep arpeggios. So let me demonstrate you, for example, the difference between economy picking, alternate picking. Alternate picking is when I'm going to play a scale and I play everything with alternate picking, so up and down strokes. This now means that when we have an uneven number of notes per string, every time when we are reaching the next string, the string is struck with a different position, a different picking direction. For example, we're starting on the E string with a downstroke and then playing the A string with an upstroke. And so we have always down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This can be really tricky. This is the reason why a lot of speed picking licks based on alternate picking is not based on an uneven number of notes per string, but on an even number of notes per string, like for example 6, like for example on this example here. Therefore it's a little bit easier for the string change, because every time when we're reaching the next string we are plucking it with the same direction, in this case down. So this is a lot easier than playing something like this, where we're only playing the scale up ascending but with uneven number of notes per string. This requires a lot more practicing to make this clean. But now what we can also do is using economy picking, and therefore it means that we're taking the last stroke that we had on the E string, the downstroke, up, down, and using this downstroke energy to get from one string to the next via a sweep technique. Sweep technique means that we now have a rest stroke, that we are not having the pick of the tip free in the air after we have plucked the string. The tip of the pick is now landing on the next string and then sweeping through the strings. This is really important for the sweep technique. So playing a scale and economy picking would sound like this. Now both ways have some advantages and disadvantages, and I don't want to get too deep into the pros and cons of should you use economy picking, alternate picking. I always prefer for scale playing, for simply shredding alternate picking, just because of the sound and the control, the rhythmical control that you have, which is getting lost by using economy picking. But for arpeggios, I really like using sweeping and economy picking. So now there's a system that was invented or created by Frank Gambale. Frank Gambale was, I would say, kind of the revolutionary of sweep picking in modern guitar playing. He's actually a fusion jazz guitar player, but without the concept and the ideas from Frank Gambale, because he wrote a ton of books about economy picking, we would never had players like Tosin Abasi or Jason Richardson, all of those guys. All those guys are heavily influenced by the playing and the idea and the concept from Frank Gambale. He is definitely the GOAT, the G-O-A-T of sweeping. Check out Frank Gambale if you haven't. Even if the jazz music is not really your kind of music and your kind of style, it's really worth it to see the playing, because he's not only playing the craziest sweeps that you can play out there, he's also improvising with them, which makes a lot of stuff a lot harder. So 313 is not only a company which creates the Halo games, but it's also a system that you can use on the guitar. It means we have 3 notes on one string, 1 note on the next string, and then again 3 notes on the next string. For example, when I want to play a pentatonic, I can play it like this. 3 notes on the E string. 3 notes on the E string, 1 note on the A string, and then 3 notes on the D string. 3, 1, 3. And then again 1 note on the G string and 3 notes on the B string. Therefore you can play a lot fluent and a lot faster through the pentatonic instead of playing it's something like this. Now when it comes to modern sweep arpeggio, 313 is a basis where we are aligning our technique around that. So we always try to look, we have some sort of uneven number of notes on one string, it could be also 5, and then one note on the next string, and then again an uneven number of notes on the next string. In most cases it's 3. So it's a mixture out of 513, 313, something around that. You will see it when we're going more into detail with the lick. So there is a ton to learn about economy picking and the 313 method. We're going to dig deep into it later, sometimes on this channel. Later this year, it's something which I want to focus a little bit more on also on this channel, besides all of the alternate picking and the pick slanting stuff. So with that in mind, with that theory in mind, with that concept in mind, we are now going to take a deeper look into the lick and what I'm doing here harmonically and melodically, because this is also really interesting for modern sweep arpeggios. So let's move on to chapter number 2. Alright, first let me play the lick slow for you, so you have this one slow in your ears again. One more time. All right, we are playing this lick over an E7 sound, E dominant 7. Maybe together combined with the flat 9, which gives us a little bit more this Phrygian dominant kind of sound. And what we are doing here now is we are going to give a crap on the right intervals, because here we have to understand it's played so fast and so Cascadian-like that you cannot hear really good individual intervals. You hear everything as kind of a wave that hits you, you know? And this wave has a certain sound, a certain feeling, which I demonstrate in every sequence here. Every wave sounds a little bit different because I'm using different intervals. And there I use the advantage of, okay, I can play with intervals. It doesn't matter if I have the sharp or the flat 5 in it, or maybe the major 6 instead of the minor 6, or changing between major 6s and minor 6s and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I have the major 9 in it instead of the flat 9. You won't hear the tension over this chord so extremely because it's happening so fast. And you will get a certain characteristic, a certain sound that hits you like a wave. And this sound represents what I can play over the chord, you know? So you will see that we are going to take advantage of a few different three different intervals which aren't correctly in the scale. So here we are now breaking the chain of a scale, getting free of the scale, getting rid of, okay, the scale has this note and this note and this note. No, we are taking notes that aren't in the scale, but using those notes in a really certain way and with a little bit of awareness and with this fast playing, the listener won't recognize it as wrong notes. So it's also important to have a knowledge and an awareness about intervals. It's not like that you can play now everything that you want to play, alien fingers, and say, okay, this is cool stuff. No, you should be aware of what you're doing. Okay, I'm starting off with this idea here. A little bit of legato idea. Playing the major third, the fourth, and the root. Speaking of E. So 16, 17, 16, 12. This one is really tricky in the beginning because I'm not using the picking hand, the right hand. I play everything legato, and that means it's really hard to be in time, to have the triplet really as triplets, because first and foremost it's a 4-note phrase, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this makes it a little bit tricky in the beginning for the timing and the control on our left hand. And then hammer-ons and always, we always tend to do something a little bit more faster than it should be. For example, I often do something like this. Playing the first note longer than it should be, and then having like this fast triller. No, every note should have the same length. Alright, and then I continue through the D to C, B, and A. So I have G sharp, A, G sharp, E, D, C, B, A. And here then I'm using the 1-3 method that I've mentioned before. Sweep, sweep, pick. And then after I've reached the last note, the A, I sweep again to the next string, to the D string. Here on the D string, we are playing the major third again from E, the G sharp. And we continue with an E major arpeggio, resolving to the E. Playing after that D and C. So what we have on the first bar is, here we have simply notes from our E Phrygian dominant scale, which is the right, or can be the right and correct scale over an E dominant 7, and it is the right and correct scale over an E dominant 7 flat 9. So here is everything inside of the scale, everything is fine. But I'm playing really diagonal. I'm not playing an arpeggio like this, for example in a vertical way, or using less strings but playing it in a horizontal way. No, I'm playing diagonal, so I'm starting here and I'm ending here. And this makes it a little bit more tricky for our left hand because we have some stretches involved. First, this one is a little interesting stretch, and this one is really I have to practice this a lot to get this one right and good under my finger, to go from this closed position here to this stretch position here. And then again to a closed position. So we're getting from nearly close to stretch to close. And this can be a lot of stretching in your left hand, especially when we don't want to move our thumb that much. First and foremost, the thumb is always here parallel to my left hand, so in the classical position. I hope you can see that. No, you can't. So my thumb is always in the classical position. I don't have something like this. Don't have the thumb up here. Have it here in the right position. I can do maybe something like this. Yeah. Thumb stays in the same direction. Alright, and after that we're moving on to the next bar. Bar number 2 goes like this. Here it gets a little bit more interesting interval-wise. We're starting with the A. We are landing with the A. This is really important to know in the beginning with an upstroke. So we are not starting with a downstroke. It's important that we're starting with an upstroke because the second note should be a downstroke to reach from the E to the A string. So we are continuing through the scale. But now we are not playing the E. We are playing now the E flat. So here's the first really cool, interesting note. We are not playing the root note, we are playing the note below the root note. So this is the wrongest note that you can play in this situation. Doesn't matter, because what you are going to hear is this, and not really this one note over the E. So again, we're going through the scale, and here we have 3, 1, 3, 3, 1, 3. Here we are going to the F sharp, the next strongest note you can have inside of the scale. It's the major 9, the raised 9, not the raised 9, it's the normal 9, yeah, the major 9, and not the flat 9. And we're playing A, B, and C, regular scale notes. And then when we are continuing a little bit more inside of the scale, we are now playing after that an E. So here's a really interesting position shift, going with my middle finger from the 14th fret to, from the 16th fret to the 17th fret. And then playing G sharp, A, and B on the E string. Okay, let's put bar 1 and bar 2 together again, slow. You have to be aware when we're going from bar 1 to bar 2 with our pick slanting, because when we are playing everything descending, our right hand starts to angle in the upward pick slanting direction. But what's better for playing something ascending is the downward pick slanting direction. So when I'm reaching, you clearly can see how I'm here in the upward pick slant direction. When I reach the A, I have to switch to the upward. So, other way around. I'm here in the upward pick slanting direction, now I have to change to the downward pick slanting direction. Sorry, again, upward. And now downward. Bar number 3 goes like this. Bar number 3 is really familiar or similar to bar number 1, but here we're not playing diagonally, we are playing vertically. But we're starting with the same 4-note hammer-on and pull-off phrase, like this one here. But this what I'm starting on the B, going to the C, back to the B, to the G sharp. So we have the 5th, the minor 6th, the 5th, and the major 3rd, and then I'm outlining. And then we are outlining a combination out of E major and F major arpeggios, starting off with E major here on the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 16th fret on the E, B, and G string. This one is from a regular C-shaped kind of sweep arpeggio. Everybody knows this. But on the D and on the A string, we are now mixing it with F major, going to the A, to the F, and to the C, which is from this C arpeggio shape a half step higher. E major, F major. By having those substitutions, we instantly create the sound of an E major 9 with the 4th in it. So an E major, flat 9, E dominant 7 flat 9 11. This is a chord that we have when we are combining E major and F major. Like a mad scientist. No, not. Then I have on the E string, to close up this bar, the B and the G sharp again, but this time as a pull-off, because here I have an even number of notes per string, but I want to go descending again, and this clashes together with my 3-1-3 and my economy picking kind of method. So to go around this a little bit, I include hammer-on and pull-offs, like here on the E string, on the low E string. So I can now play the A with a downstroke. Otherwise, when I have constant picking, I have, downstroke at the last note, and I should start the A with an upstroke. But I don't want to do this for bar number 4, because bar number 4, or I always say bar, it's more like pattern number 4, goes like this. Here I'm playing an A minor 9 minor 6 chord. So I have the A minor 3rd, 5th and the minor 6th. And herefore I use 1, sweep to the next string, to the A string, have 3 notes on the A string, can sweep from the A to the D string, and here I play the same pattern an octave higher. So I have an octave displacement now. And this I can really easy sweep with the economy picking, because again, sweep from E to the A string, play 3 notes and then sweep from the A to the D string. And from the D string again, sorry, to the G string, but with the correct notes next time. And then here on the next octave, which starts on the B string, the 22nd fret, I cannot play the full minor 6 arpeggio, obviously, because I missed the 25th fret here. So I play something like this, going back to the minor 3rd and resolving to the A. And this one is an A minor 6 arpeggio, but here comes the interesting stuff. We're still playing it over E dominant 7. And what intervals are A minor 6 over E dominant 7? Let's figure this one out. The A is the 4th. The C is the minor 6 of E. The E is the E of E. And the F is the flat 9 of E. So we more kind of have here now, by combining E dominant 7 as the chord which is played in the background, and A minor 6, which is the arpeggio that I play in the foreground, combining both together, we have an E dominant 7 flat 9 11 6 sound. Yeah, that's nerdy. Alright. And then resolve to the A. You can easily sound. Gewitter. With those kind of ideas, you can easily sound like Jason Richardson, Tosin Abasi, Kiko Loureiro, all these kind of new cats and new kids on the block. Try out to play around with those sounds, try out to come along with some own ideas, be creative with it, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Please leave a like, a comment, or subscribe. Cheers, and stay progress. Bye.